This morning I want to talk about sustainability. After Steve Jobs passed away, there were a lot of people having conversations that went like this: what was Steve Jobs' greatest invention? And some people said it was the Mac or even the Apple II. Some said it was the iPod and the idea of streamable content. Some said it was the iPhone or the iPad. My thinking was that Steve Jobs' greatest invention was the Apple company, because he built a company that I believe will sustain and continue to provide value to the marketplace for generations to come, because he built the processes into the company to look for and execute innovation. And I think the latest wave of product reveals supports that. I used to say, time would tell, but I think we now see CarPlay. Most of the major car manufacturers have signed on to provide Apple CarPlay as the interface in the dashboard of your car. Apple Watch, Apple Pay, whether they pay me for my idea or not, I don't know, but these are things that I think are going to have a profound effect on our country and on our world. So we've been talking about sustainability of our oceans and our drinking water, sustainability of our products that we make, sustainability of our air, and these are great things to talk about and great innovations that we're looking at yesterday, and we'll look at more today. But behind those, for those to really make a lasting difference, you're going to have a different kind of sustainability, and that's a sustainable company. A company that's built not just for short-term gain, but to provide long-term value. A company that understands that they're not here to serve just a few shareholders, but to serve an ecosystem of stakeholders who depend on that company to be a long-term value to their communities. One example, I worked on a book called Nanovation that was a 3-year case study of a company in India called Tata. And just to be brief, Tata was founded during the British Raj. They're about 150 years old. And they were basically industrial Gandhis. They understood, after they'd sort of got their feet on the ground and were starting off in the textile business, they understood that until India had an industrial base, they would not be able to thrive as an independent country. So they built the first textile mills in India, the first hydroelectric power, the first steel mills. They provided rails for the Indian railway. They built trucks. They built cars. Today, the group owns about 100 companies. They earn about $6 billion a year in profit. And this is where it gets interesting. 60% of the stock of the company, although it's publicly traded, but 60% of the stock is owned by 2 trusts that were founded in 1909 by the sons of the founder. The chairman of Tata Group, his day job is to make sure that they continue to serve the ecosystem of India and South Asia with great products so that they can continue to earn those $6 or $7 billion a year. And then his evening job is to go over and be the chairman of these 2 trusts and spend their share of that profit on schools and hospitals and the community. We have companies like that in America. You're going to hear from one of them today. UPS, Hershey, Sherwin-Williams, the Ford Motor Company. These are companies that understand that they are part of an ecosystem, and for their responsibility to last for hundreds of years, they've got to provide that sustainable long-term value to the country, to the community, to all the people that they serve. So I said we were going to hear from a company like that. Wallenius Wilhelmsen Logistics is the joining together of 2 companies, one of which is 85 years old, the other is 150 years old, that have understood the value of providing long-term value to the world. That's part of the reason why they've been one of the founding partners here of the Ocean Exchange. Ray Fitzgerald is the vice chairman of the board of Ocean Exchange, and the president of WWL US, has had a long-term career in the shipping industry and logistics industry. And interesting link, a few years ago, Tata Motors bought Jaguar Land Rover out of bankruptcy from Ford, turned it around into one of the most successful car companies in the world, and every Jaguar, every Land Rover that comes into the United States is brought here by WWL, prepped here, completely set up to be delivered to you next time you buy your next Land Rover by WWL. So please welcome Ray Fitzgerald.